You are listening to the Sacred Pathways podcast, stories and wisdom from walking the heart's way. I am your host and co-journer, Sydney Searcwell-Simpson, and I am thrilled to walk this journey with you. Bismillah. Let us begin. I wrote this reflection while attending my first writer's write-in. At the time, I was personally navigating how newly uncovered layers of self-doubt, grounded in the fear of being misunderstood or misinterpreted, were familiarizing me with the habitual practice of withholding expression where I wanted to be an instrument of divine expression. I knew then, as I know now, that alongside my day-to-day living, words, whether through poetry, fiction, journals, or speaking, as I am now on this podcast, are one of the ways in which life, God, and the greater divine mystery ask me to channel her. Around this time, I felt called to deepen my state of listening and compelled to spend more time in silence. It was a persistent call, one I felt was offering another important step in this life journey. At first, I thought I'd spend time at the writer's circle working on my fiction novel. Then, I thought I'd spend time writing a reflective piece on finding refuge in the temple of the heart. But when I sat down to write, I knew I needed to process and integrate before I wrote that piece. And by the grace, wonder, sense of humor, and synchronicity that can only be divine, we were given a quote and prompt, both related to silence. The quote by Ursula K. Guin, whom a friend of mine had recommended to me just the previous week, says, "For a word to be spoken, there must be silence, before and after." And that was followed by the prompt, "Write noticing silence." The piece you're about to hear is what followed that prompt. It was pure stream of consciousness, and I wrote from a pure and true place, which to me means that there was no thought of outcome. I didn't write it for anything or for anyone. I didn't write with an idea of rules I had to follow or expectations I must meet. I didn't write it to be understood, nor contort it to be understood. I had no desire. I just felt what was true and explored where that could guide me. It's interesting because I feel like that is freedom. When I think about the life I live, the life I have lived, freedom is really connected to doing the exact same thing, doing what is true, and exploring where it could guide me, regardless of outcome. It's interesting because I'm an artist in all ways, from movement to ceramics to mosaics to performance to my life, which to me is the ultimate art. There isn't an art form that I'm not open to exploring. But writing has been my longest companion in this life. You could only imagine my shock when this stream of consciousness, this expression of what was true, was so readily received by the group. And there was even a desire to hear more of it. And while a part of me was so grateful that people received value from what I created, I was given the opportunity to sit with the freedom, new and unfamiliar, of what it was to express truth and for that to be enough to be received in ways that I could never control nor predict. I'm writing 3 books right now, alongside my post on Substack and my journals, which a lot of my writing is based upon. This experience opened me up to the magic that my best writing and also my best living comes from the seemingly messy and raw need to simply express, to open to the channel. The most real, raw, unhinged expression connects to the ancestral drive and desire that humanity's legacy of art began upon. The need to express is as natural and necessary as our breathing, and it deserves to be free. So, it is my pleasure to share with you a freedom I remembered I always had through these unedited musings on and from silence. All around me are the sounds of all but the one I sought. The insistent buzz of the fridge and freezer, the creaking of mechanical components that are more easily ignored outside of this very moment. There's a discomfort in seeking for silence, for in it I've realized just how loud the world I exist in is. I wanted to write about finding refuge in the temple of the heart. In silence, this yearning, this seed, these words I can feel but can't seem to find came to me, and I feel I must nurture them now in silence for the truth of the words to come through. Why is it that there's so much cultural discomfort with silence? Why does it feel like I can't find it in its totality? It's easy to blame others. As someone who loves silence and would rather listen and speak only when inspired, I've learned that the people I live with love to talk. And I think that's why I love solitude. I can just be. There's no expectation to respond to anything, no culturally accepted cues of politeness. But it's not just them. It is me and my own training grappling within and disrupting my own inner silence. But truly, this inner silence, this sanctuary, this core of who I am, cannot be disrupted. It cannot be disturbed. It's unshakable and simply always is. I, the person, am simply not always attuned to it all. I read somewhere that silence is not the absence of sound, but the sound of everything. It is an eternal state of being where one can hear the subtleties of a twig snapping under the hurried steps of squirrels, the subtleties of snow falling on one's jacket, the sound of your own heartbeat, the buzz of the fridge. Silence is the capacity to hear what is within and beyond sound, what is within and beyond what's spoken, an effortless hearing, a doorway to true listening. I feel like most of humanity cannot hear each other and therefore understand each other because we're so busy listening to ourselves. I remember when I first noticed how accustomed I became to the constant chatter in my mind 3 years ago. What was I missing? A whole world filled with other people, other animals, other life forms, and their stories and their experiences, because I became so fixed on here. What are we missing about each other and ourselves that we're searching for in fruitless places that is available when we step fully into silence? It is only in silence that we can truly hear, truly see, truly connect. For in silence, there is no projection, no expectation, no desire, no hope, no fear, no anything. And in that seed of nothing lies the possibility for everything. And everything between and beyond all that we know or think we know or believe that we are. Silence is a refuge. It is a sanctuary I wish to eternally sit in, not to escape the world and all of its troubles, but to tune into how I can be more deeply present and rooted in this world. How can I love all beings in a way that opens them up to the doorway of the divine mystery and all of its wholeness that we find ourselves gracefully, but mostly messily, stumbling through? What is my role in the way that life is preparing to unfold? Does silence know what we need to learn how to be with one another in the dark, painful, and uncertain times we are too busy trying to escape before we try to understand how we got here and why we keep finding ourselves deeper and deeper in this disconnected place? If we get silent enough, will we see the beauty in the fact that life is so much grander than us simple humans and our troubles, and that this truth is no separate from the truth that us humans and our troubles are also an integral part of the larger story unfolding? What is here? What exists beyond our own noise? The words and the worlds we seek and the noise that seeking creates disconnects us from the fact that seeking requires a knowing that there is something else, a knowing beyond the illusion of certainty and into the dance of faith and trust that the strange knowing initiates us into. That the seeking, whether for freedom or for silence, is just a game that brings us back to what is and has always been. Right here. Can you hear it? Silence. How silly of me to have missed what is always with me. How devoted of me to have searched anyway. I leave you, beloveds, with a quote that I hold dearly in my heart. It redirected me whenever I was lost and reminded me of the courage to step forward boldly into my life and whatever it is I feel called to do with it, free from binds of being understood or to even understand it myself. And I pray that its medicine reaches you. There is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you into action, and there is only one of you in all time. This expression is unique, and if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, nor how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You do not even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to keep open and aware directly to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. No artist is pleased. There is no satisfaction whatever at any time. There is only a queer, divine dissatisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us marching and makes us more alive than the others. Martha Graham. May you be open and free for life's intelligence to flow through you as it knows how. May we all have trust in that which guides us and choose to express it unconditionally. What a world becomes possible. What a world. If you are interested in sharing your heart path story, art, or in sharing a paradigm shifting conversation on the podcast, you can find the application in the show notes or the description bar. There you will also find links to join our community on Substack, where I share personal and emergent audios related to the episode themes and my personal process of living and being another way. Come engage and connect with other listeners and co-journers in the gatherings and conversations held only on Substack. You can also find the link to my website, Jivan Mukta Healing, to learn more about the work that I do to be of service to the world at this time. Until then, I wish you and your beloveds peace and presence on the path and journey. Connect soon. Thank you for listening to Sacred Pathways, stories and wisdom from walking the heart's way. As a budding show, I would be incredibly grateful if you supported this podcast by giving us a rating, sharing this or any other episode with your loved ones in person and online, and letting me know in the comment section below how this episode resonated with you. Engagement is lovingly received and appreciated if you have received value from this. See you next time.